Welcome to part 2 of the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo Retrospective. Well, last time we talked about the zoo's magazines, some interesting photographs and stuff like that, and a little bit of African elephant crossing. Well, this time we're going to take a look at my little scrapbook of Cleveland Metroparks Zoo's, well, little sort of like newspaper clippings of stuff that happened throughout history, but it is not organized through the time it was photographed or whatever. It's just organized in like a certain category. Like I have animal mothers, the zoo's carnivores, and African elephant crossing itself. Let us begin. Well, here's the scrapbook itself. Don't mind the cover, it's just useless mumbo jumbo. Now, here's the first category. The zoo's carnivores. Oh yes, ignore the picture of Martika with the painting. That's out of place. It's pasted there permanently, and that was like many years ago when I was little. Now, of course, these are old zoo tickets of the zoo's polar bears and grizzly bears. And one little thing, the zoo's grizzly bears have passed on. They're no longer with us. There were Lester and Warren. Lester died of old age, while Warren died of complications of a surgery with a tumor. Let them rest in peace. I will miss them very much. Now this is Barefoot Weather. This is a picture of, well, little one, a young polar bear at the zoo, whose feet are sticking out of his ice-cold pool. He once lived with Aurora, who is now the only resident there. I believe he was transferred or something. Now this next page is about the zoo's new wolves. As you might recall from the previous video, that Reba was one of the elderly gray wolves who had died. And so the rest of the elderly pack was removed, and they sent in these new Mexican gray wolves. These are much younger. They're like 3 to 4 years old now, or 5 now. So, yeah. So, the wolves, so far I know their names are Una, Katori, Mitzi, Nancita, and that's all I remember. Oh, and there's also Apricia and Sarita. That's all their names. But they also have I heard they also have a male wolf in the zoo. I don't know. And of course there was a list of suggestions to name him. I'm not sure if he was officially named since there were no videos about him whatsoever. So this is about their lions and tigers. Here, I assume this is Dasha and Danya, the two tiger siblings, which I have mentioned before in a magazine. Here's Moufasa and Chloe, the lions. Down here are also Dasha and Danya, I assume. And this is a photograph of a 1-year-old Dasha with his mother Gaia. Next we got animal moms. These are wolf's guenions right here, or however you pronounce it. There are monkeys that live in the primate, cat, and aquatics building. And these are Goodfellows tree kangaroos from the early 2000s. And of course, they've been successful breeders. Same with the koalas, like right here. Though it's not photographed, this koala is not photographed with a baby, it still counts in this category. Here we got a very tiny baby spider tortoise, and Andy the warthog, and her little piglet. Well, they're gone now. They left. They were transferred. And I have no idea where to find the spider tortoise. I never tried to look. On this other page, these are the zoo's zebras from, again, the early 2000s. Most of these newspaper clippings came from the early 2000s. And down there's also a bontebok. Yeah, that's how they pronounce it, and that's how they spell it too. And here's the best mother of them all, Inga. This is Azizi, like way over there on her back. Of course, there's Inga. You can recognize her with that torn ear. And this is a close-up shot of Azizi. And of course, there's a baby giraffe from the early 2000s, along with a slender horned gazelle. Now, of course, this is around the time of that so-called baby boom. And there's Kayla the orangutan with her son Daniel. So far, I don't know what happened to Daniel. And these are also, well, other Goodfellow tree kangaroos. Oh, more giraffes from 2008 or something. And this was recently taken from, like, last week. More koalas and more wallabies. This is what from when the federal stimulus excluded zoos and aquariums. But much to my surprise, well, look, zoos roaring despite bearish economy. Meaning, look how well it does. This is like how well it does, or how well the zoo was doing compared to the Akron Zoo. Way more popular than the Akron Zoo. I've actually been to the Akron Zoo before, but I don't like it as much. Oh, by the way, these are the zoo's colobus monkeys on Monkey Island, which is a 1930s Great Depression era exhibit. Now here we are at the best section, in my opinion. The best section is about African elephant crossing. Here we got a picture of Moshi right here. And this is a little map of African elephant crossing from an iPhone. Oh, and these are the 3 elephants paintings. There's Martika, Joe, and there's Moshi at the end. And there's a little advertisement for the opening day. It's now open. Of course, there's a picture of Martika rolling around in the mud, and this was from the grand opening. And right here in this colorless photograph, there's Willie right there, and there's some people watching from a balcony. Oh, and that's one of the zoo's gorillas. It's never specified which one it is. It's either Bebek or Makolo. All it says is a gorilla at the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. His name is never mentioned. It's strong guys. I hope, well, of course, this is about their new diet, so they must be healthy, living a long time. I'm pretty sure they're... these are the zoo's maps. This one is from 2009. This one is from 2011, after the opening of African Elephant Crossing. Why don't we take a look at the maps? Well, here's the map of the zoo. There's right over there is the construction of African Elephant Crossing. There's the zoo's entrance, and down there below is the rainforest. Lion exhibit. There's the African Plains, which is full of giraffes, bontabucks, slenderhorn gazelles, zebras, ostriches. And way up there's Northern Trek, primate cats and aquatics, Australian Adventure. Oh, and I forgot Waterfowl Lake, which is pretty underrated. Well, this was around the time there was still construction. Now let's look at the new updated map. Now this was more like it. Of course, they got African Elephant Crossing completely built. And of course, there's a new updated Australian Adventure with New Guinea singing dogs, like right there. And they actually have kangaroos on this map now. There's the Yaga tree. And of course, there's a train that goes all the way around that area. I was about to say zoo. Of course, there's a deck walk that leads to primates, cats, and aquatics. And look, tortoises actually made the map. They were never on the map to begin with. Oh, and then of course there's tigers, bears, camels, reindeer, seals, and sea lions. There's the rhino building right there. Of course, there's the African savanna or African plains. Lion exhibit right there. Lots of bucks, zebras, giraffes, and of course ostriches at some point were on the map. And down there in the corner is the rainforest. See, this is a much better updated map. Computer animated, yes. Detailed, yes. They have all the restaurants listed. And now I don't have to look at some incomplete map the whole time. And plus, it has a very positive, pretty uplifting looking environment. This is the final little article that I'll show you. This is about African Elephant Crossing. You can see some elephants, like right there. Kids. Zoo. Now, look at how big this piece of paper is. I can't even fit it anywhere in these little spaces in the scrapbook itself. And look, it unfurls. There's a map of African Elephant Crossing. Of course, there's some residents like meerkats, mole rats, elephants, some types of birds, African rock python. Oh, and of course, there's something about their training wall with their little target training. Of course, they sort of have a little X-ray vision of the Elephant Care Center. Look, there's the meerkat exhibit. There's water. Well, the North Pool, I think. Or the South Pool, whatever. And, oh, hang on. There's the Savannah Range, which is where that pool is located. There's a crossing gate. And the Mopani Range. And, of course, there's a comparison of how much elephants weigh, how much they drink compared to humans. Or a little bit of, anatomy of the electrical fence. Oh, and down there is their night range, which is a private area. You can't go there. You can't see it. Well, the only time you actually can see it is, like, when you're on the train ride. You could just, like, ride past it. You know, the train ride with the, from Australian Adventure. Of course, they got a pretty nifty-looking, African village right here. It's more themed to the African savannah area of the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. It sort of almost gives me the illusion that I've entered a village that is near elephant territory. And it's another little fun fact, it's across from the lion exhibit. Yippee! Well, it's pretty much a new, enriching, a pretty good environment for the elephant. It's way bigger than the old one. In fact, there's a comparison right there. African elephant crossing, the old exhibit. That's how big it is compared to the old one. So yeah, elephants, they're living large. They got it made. One other thing I must note, does this line look familiar? I think it's Moufasa. I'm really not sure. You know, Moufasa from the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. And this is an ad and a little, thing from Playhouse Square with the Lion King. Yes, I've been there and I love it. It's awesome. And of course, this is just an ad for it. You know, it says, "Where's our ad?" And there's a line yawning. But is that really Moufasa? Is that him? It looks like him. Let me get a picture. So there's a picture of Moufasa and Chloe laying around in the spring of 2008. It was a cloudy day. They were like half awake. Now really, it looks... Don't they look somewhat alike? I mean, look at the color of the mane, how it's shaded. And plus, Mufasa's mane hasn't changed in years. And plus, the growth of his mane not only does have to do with his age, it has something to do with the climate he's living in. So yeah, his mane hasn't changed color in years. In fact, of course, in a previous photograph I showed you that he was once blonde. Well, now he's blonde with black. So what do you think? Do you think this is him? Because this was taken in Cleveland. Playhouse Square. See, Clevelanders, yada da da da. And of course, there's a little rocky environment behind him. So could this be him? You pick. Because I've been planning to tear this page out and add it to the scrapbook, because Mufasa is just my favorite animal. He's my favorite creature to look at. The second favorite, in my opinion, are the elephants. And this was actually the best photograph we've ever taken of the lions. One more thing I must note, my favorite exhibits at the zoo. Well, my little list of favorite exhibits. Well, number one is African elephant crossing, because it's so large and stimulating for the elephants. It's way better than the old one, and it's very natural, and it's got smaller species of animals as well, like birds, python, meerkats, and mole rats. Second, I love the lions, for obvious reasons. It's my favorite animal. Third is the African plains itself, because it's so diverse. Also pretty much like the wolf exhibit. Oh, sorry, it's a little blurry right there. But I do like the wolf exhibit. It's called Wolf Wilderness or the Wolf Lodge because I like how clever it is. I mean, they have like a joystick that controls the camera just in case you can't see any wolves. But I'm not very certain if it's obsolete or not, because the new wolves are, since they're younger, more energetic, and they're very curious, so they just walk right up to the glass. I also kind of like the kangaroo exhibit, also known as Wallaby Walkabout, because of the amount of space they have. At night, the wallabies and walrus can just hop over this rope fence. They're actually, I don't know whether they're afraid of humans or not, but at night they could just hop over the little rope. I also pretty much like the rainforest. All of it. Doesn't matter what particular exhibit or display they have in there. I just love the rainforest in general. I also like how it's warm. It's like 85 degrees in there every day. Every day of the year. Trust me, you're gonna love this zoo. So yeah, the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo, definitely my most favorite zoo ever. Part 3 will be shorter than this one. It'll be much, much shorter, trust me. It's just going to be a little bit about my experiences the first time I've been to the zoo. And the zoos I've been to all my life. Check in for part 3. See you around.